specifically in the field of bibliometric and literature review research. Uh, so the modus operandi will be today I'll be taking a kind of overview of uh, special type of literature review, that is systematic literature review and bibliometric analysis or bibliometric review papers. So nowadays, since it is typical combination of bibliometric research as well as special SLR, combination of these two are working now and paper are publishable. I will also try to give you some highlights why people, what are the main ingredients when you want to write a paper which is publishable in high impact journal. So what is the difference between a paper which is for high impact journals and as a normal journal, no, for a normal journal. So I'll be just taking all these things. And I also today itself, I um, also wanted to show something, if possible, if time allows, that how to download the paper from Scopus database, um, how to get the bunch of papers from Scopus database, and also if permits little analysis hands-on on WAS viewer, if possible. Otherwise, at least today, I'll help in facilitating that how to download this WAS viewer software and BiblioShiny also. BiblioShiny is from our software and WAS viewer is again an open software. So this will be a kind of thing. And then I will be, of course, taking the questions from you, from the participants. So either if um, if somebody is writing in the chat box also about the questions, I'll try to answer immediately if I am concentrating in my uh, lecture only. So whenever I'll see, I'll take care of this, or otherwise in between. um Anybody can ask and raise your hand and you can ask. That will be better. So with that clarity I am just starting the things. Okay, so I'm going to share this my screen. I'm going to share it and then we will go ahead. uh, is that okay? Somebody can write yes in the chat box.
Yes, it's okay.
Okay, so yeah, I want an active participants. Sometimes I'll be asking such kind of questions. Okay, fine. So I'm going to share my screen so that I can share the slides and then we'll start. Okay, fine. Okay, my screen is shared. Um, okay, so I think my slides are visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I hope it's a my audience is a mix of some young researchers, some PhD scholars, and some people who are the beginners, and some maybe from the industry or some different background wanted to know the know-how of mm, literature review paper, specifically systematic literature review as well as bibliometric literature review. Uh, so I have just prepared the things for them only, keeping them in your mind, in the mind, and slowly I will increase the level of level of the standard of the papers, because you can write the papers from um, uh, for a journal which is maybe Scopus based, and for a journal which may be based on or which may belong to ABDC category, so maybe A or A star. So even the topic is same, but your writing style may be little different, because they required some upper level understanding or upper level kind of uh, um, findings, or the way of writing is totally different. And also, when you write for a high impact journal, your the selection of or inclusion criteria is different. Inclusion criteria, when I say inclusion criteria, means the way you select your papers on which you are going to do some kind of literature review or systematic literature review or bibliometric analysis. So always remember that you do bibliometric analysis or systematic literature review on some set of papers. So the paper, if you are basically you are using Scopus database, so it is always suggested that you try for Scopus only. If you are selecting the papers which are from from the journals which are from ABDC list and all, so then you can go for um, ABDC journal for publication purpose. So it is your selection or inclusion or exclusion criteria of the journals, of the papers, which actually leads you to design your paper for a specific journal. So the first question is, why literature review? So basically, two reasons are very important reason. One is every time for or every era of time duration, we need to have any kind of subject advancement in the field of in any field. For example, it's a for example marketing field. So you need some subject advancement. So whatever the academicians are writing in the field of academia, specifically in that particular field, from the last 10 years. So is there anything which is coming up, which is supposed to come up in the future? Is there any theoretical advancement? So literature reviews are typically written for theoretical advancement, subject advancement, which is actually based on analyzing the prior studies. So that is first and the foremost study. This is actually very important, because basically all the theories, now you call it theories. For example, when we talk about technology acceptance model, when we talk about the the theory of planned behavior, all these theories which are now theories, and are we the researchers are working on that, um, and then doing some kind of extension, doing empirical studies on that, collecting data, developing a scale, collecting data and analyzing, and then further doing some kind of extension. But uh, before making the theories, uh, it is actually from the literature review. It is the one who has developed, those who worked on literature review, systematic literature review or literature review, and based on that literature review, thing, you have to find out some variables and then some kind of hypothesis, some kind of proposed model which is based on literature. If you develop, then later on some other researchers will be working on the model, testing the model, verifying the model, and then after some years, when many people have tested the model, verified the model will become the theory. So that is the way of doing it. So that is the first advantage of literature review is, or why we do literature review. The first is to develop a subject in a positive direction. So our, all the concepts of the subjects not evolve in one day. It takes time and slowly the new things are coming up. So, for example, with the help of literature review, you can give some direction, future direction, future direction, or direction for future research. So these are all will become a part of subject in advancement. And then on the basis of that, some other researchers will be working on that to create a kind of theoretical development. So that is the first thing. Then we have, as a researcher, we always look for citations. Um, so you might have seen nowadays in the LinkedIn also, people tell about their citation. Citation is actually a kind of achievement. They say it's a kind of achievement. It's my achievement now. 100 citation for this paper, 1,000 citation, 5,000, 25,000 citations. So it is among researchers or among academia. This has become a buzzword. More citation. So this for more citations, a classical review paper is a very good uh, um, example. If you write a review paper, you get more citation because many people may be using it, maybe applying your the things which is given in your review paper for their empirical studies, for their database studies, or for their further studies. So the second advantage why I write literature review paper is for more citation, which is for um, promotion in academia and all, we can say. So these are the two important things why we go for review paper. Now, slowly, that I have already discussed, that the the purpose of any review paper is, and then I must emphasize that don't uh, if you are not able to give this purpose to your paper, then 50% of the papers are going to be rejected, because if you don't provide the new ideas and direction to the future researchers to undergo uh, a novel research. So, for example, I'll show you in one of my paper which was published in A. It was a systematic literature review paper. So uh, around 1 year we struggled because every time it was going, and 8 to 12 months it took. Finally, when one of the reviewer, when one of the referee, she has or he, I don't know, has given some kind of suggestion, that this suggestion if you do, definitely it is published. So the moment we include this future direction, I'm talking about 2019. It was the year when my first paper was in ABDC A list, in A category it was published. So the four new things we added, it was the future, it was the direction for the future research. So that is the sole purpose of uh, any literature review, any type of literature review you undergo. The sole purpose is to provide the new ideas and direction for future researchers to undergo a novel research. So if you are able to provide the new ideas and direction, definitely it is going to be published. And I'm talking about the top journal, the good journals. If you're able to provide this kind of novel ideas, they will publish. I'll show you 2, 3 papers direction where they have written this, and then it has become robust. And one paper is published in FT50 also, and that is just a bibliometric research. You will surprised to find out that the bibliometric research also published in FT50. So, but it was a very deep, analysis. So that also in this series of lectures, I'll try to discuss what are the things they have done and how and what are the points through which it was published. So, okay, so basically, they are talking about the research goal. So that is the same thing. They have, I'm not going to discuss on that. So one thing which is very important, because some of the editors, they used to tell that in most of the research papers, you go for selection, but we don't write the selection criteria. So what is the inclusion criteria? Why you have selected some paper? Why you have removed? Why you have not selected? So what are the selection criteria? This is very important, and you have to mention in the when you go for literature review, you have to mention that what is your criteria for that, because again it is going to help to send your paper to a particular journal. That is very important. And one more thing I want to add here, that this bibliometric research or systematic literature review research, they are actually, I believe that they are entrepreneurial in the nature, in its nature. Why? Because you are the first one. Suppose you have gone through 120 papers or 200 papers, you are the first one to bring some new ideas from that. So that is a kind of entrepreneurship. It's a kind of entrepreneurship, because on the basis of that, people will follow you. So this is a very high responsibility of a researcher who are doing uh, literature review papers, that it should bring some novel knowledge, new knowledge. And so that's why I used to say it's like you develop your own business. So it is like you're developing your own business, and that's why it is beautiful, wonderful, and not easy also. So one one of the important thing is to find out the or to write the general selection criteria. So basically, you can go. Usually, people can go for Web of Science. It is SSCI based journals. That is also database. If you have the access, you can get directly. Write some keywords. You get papers. That also we'll try to find out today only. Maybe you can select the papers where impact factor more than one. So then uh, for these kind of selection criteria, you have to go some uh, journals database or publisher database. For example, you can find out some top publishers, maybe Taylor Francis, Elsevier, Emerald, and Wiley, and then you go to their database and you can find out which are the journal where their impact factor is more than one. If impact factor is more than one, then you can just um take those journals into the consideration, and from them you can from their database you can find out which are the paper in the particular area, your concerned area. So that so when we get some paper, what is the important thing is the keywords. What are the keywords you are going to put? So that is also I want to discuss that why it is important, because this keywords will bring the set of papers on which you will work. But the the keyword, the selection of the keyword is still very important. So suppose, for example, uh, s- you are working in HR area, sustainable HR area. So it's a broader area. You have thousands or more than 2,000 papers or 3 4,000 papers you'll get. But if you want to narrow down, so you have to find out one particular word, which is actually catchy word, as well as less people have worked in that. So recently I was going through one paper which is on which is a typical combination of um, bibliometric research and systematic literature review research. So there, in which they have used the tactic, tactical knowledge in sustainable HR. Something like, if I don't forget, I think this is the same word they have used. So tactic knowledge, tactic or tactical knowledge in the area of sustainable HR, and then they have written that uh, framework based systematic literature review and bibliometric analysis and future agenda, something that kind of, you know, title was there. So that tactic knowledge or tactical knowledge is one keywords on which they emphasized, and they have developed some framework. They have used edu framework, which I am going to discuss today also. So a lot of, these are the basic things. Then you can go for ABS2 or ABS3 and above. So for example, if you are targeting ABS3 general for your literature review paper, so you have to, so it means you should get the papers from the journals which are in ABS3. So suppose you are targeting ABS2, so to send your research paper, so you should get the research papers for your literature review which are from ABS2 or ABS3, because then only uh, they will publish your paper. So suppose you are taking a Scopus database paper, you do the analysis, your analysis is very good, very effective. Your analysis may be very good, very effective, very efficient, but they will not publish in ABDC, ANA star, because you might have taken from Scopus, and there are possibilities that maybe you might have left some journals which are good in your area and which belongs to ABDC A and A star. So if you want to publish in A and A star your literature review paper, you have to take paper from their database. Suppose you are taking the papers from Scopus, it is very good that you should send your paper to a journal which is within Scopus database. So these are the small secrets which, as a young researcher, we don't know. When I started at IIT Delhi, we were struggling for that. So, to just after interaction, after discussion and talking to people, then slowly these are the things you will come to know. Because writing a paper, it is totally different from writing a publishable paper in a particular journal. So that's what I'm telling you. You will write a good paper, but publication is little tricky. So uh, these are the things you have to be very much careful. Uh, okay, so article selection criteria, it was journal selection criteria. Now it is article selection criteria. So how to select the articles? So we have, Prisma concept is there. I think I should open the things, and then simultaneously I'll come to this also. But just I'm reading for you. You have to write your keywords in the title abstract keywords, which is in the Scopus. So suppose, for example, you have some database, Scopus database. So there they have, the search uh, keywords. They will ask in the search box, you have to write some keywords. So, and then you have to write very systematically. For example, in the first search, what happened? Then you have, you did some limitations. Then what happens? then how many papers comes, then you do some kind of uh, eliminate the redundancy, or you have applied some more constraints. So then what number of paper has come, then you apply more constraints. So these are steps, all steps of um, selection process. You have to include every step in selection process or of selection process of the papers within the paper itself. So whatever you have applied the selection process or selection criteria, you have to write it down. So that's why I have written here that 25% of the submitted paper don't have selection criteria. These are the comments from generally the comments from the editors. They used to, tell whenever I used to meet people around around this academic world. And uh, in basically one more recently I was talking to some set of doctoral scholars. So they have included, it was a good research paper on basis of bibliometrics, but they have included books also, local journals also, local articles, books, conference papers. So if you are writing a research paper, research article, which is review article, maybe, then you should avoid including the articles which are from books. You should avoid including the articles which are from your local journals or which are from conference papers. All these things you should avoid. You should only focus on the articles, published articles. So these are the selection criteria, and then you have to mention it also, that when you have typed the particular keywords, how many papers have come, then you again draw some constraint. For example, it is from medical background, the social science background, all these things. So or psychology backgrounds, you are eliminating the papers. So what you are doing for elimination and inclusion, exclusion, all these things, you have to write it down, you have to mention in the paper. So that is my say in that. Okay, so before I want to finish this, then we'll go to this selection and inclusion criteria prisma concept, and then slowly I'll be giving you few examples of systematic literature review paper as well as bibliomatics also, and then we'll proceed slowly. Uh, and you try to understand. I'm also trying to explain slowly so that more grasping will be there. Okay, so title should be short and focused on review. This is also very important. Long titles you should avoid writing the long titles. So it should be short. And so I want to show some title later on. You keep this in mind. Uh, we'll come back. Okay, so yeah, it is the sample size is basically uh, uh, for bibliometric research. See, bibliometric is actually bibliometric analysis is totally a different type of literature review. Um, Other than systematic literature review, a lot of things are done by machine itself in bibliometrics. You can take more papers. So a good, according to the literature, according to the published literature or verified literature, if you want to write down good bibliometric analysis, the paper should, the number of paper should be, starting point is minimum, it should be 200. Minimum 200 for, uh, generally it is preferred that minimum number of papers for bibliometric analysis is 200. Maximum you can go to whatever number, depends on your wish as a researcher, how many years you want to take, maybe 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 relevant paper you should get. So generally papers, if you get the bibliometric analysis, you will get in between 200 to 1000. Generally, you will get 200 to 1000 because a lot of eliminations are happening. And after that, so that is about bibliometric analysis. Now, if you talk about systematic literature review, which is basically this lecture is we are emphasizing on systematic literature review as well as bibliometrics. These two things will be, more highlighted during the discussions in the types of literature review. So two types I am taking care of. I mean, I'm just emphasizing on that. So another is when you talk about systematic literature review, the minimum number generally people are writing systematic literature review, which is around 40 to 200, because many things you have to do manually. And if your topic is relevant, if you get the relevant papers, sufficient number of papers, so if you get relevant papers in that particular category, 40 paper is sufficient. Otherwise people are going for 150 also. Generally 40 to 100, 40 to 120, 110, something like that is sufficient for systematic literature review. So, for example, you have taken for bibliometric analysis around 500 or 450 paper. So, among them, you can decide that on the basis of citation, on the basis of relevancy, you can select again. You can, eliminate few papers, or and you can select very few paper according to your choice. Manually, you can select out of 400. Suppose you have taken for bibliometrics, you do some kind of bibliometric analysis on them, and then slowly you diminish the number of papers among from them only on the basis of some criteria. That criteria is already given, maybe from the journals which are having more impact factor more than one, or maybe only the journals which are from A or B category, or from ABS 3 or plus ranking, depends on you. So timings for literature review, basically they are going for 10 to 50 years. And yes, 10 to 50 years is quite okay. Generally low, people are going for 10 years. It depends on the topic also. So suppose you are talking about AI and all, so you will not get many papers for 10 years or 20 years back. So if the topic is modern, so then 5 years is sufficient, 10 years sufficient. So if you increase the number of years, then you have to go for quality journals, those who are having high impact journals. But remember, not every paper, every time they accept the review paper. Because suppose you have to check before you submit your review paper to the journals whether from the last 3 4 years somebody has written the same topic review paper or not. Because every year they don't want to publish the review paper. Every year they don't want to publish in the same area. So suppose nowadays people are working on social media, influencer marketing. So you have to check that on which specific topic in social media marketing or influencer marketing people have written the review paper. So suppose they have written they specifically engagement or word of mouth in social media marketing, or electronic word of mouth in social media marketing. So you should avoid writing the review paper on this topic if it is written in recent past. So minimum 3 years, because editor will reject, because editor will be knowing that these kind of papers. Suppose I remember um, when Professor Justin Paul, uh, editor of a renowned journal in this uh, Journal of Business Research, I think JBR. So um, he rejected few because he only told that in a conference he told that he has got so many papers on literature review, even though all of them were good, but he could not publish it. He could have to reject those papers because it was in the recent past published 1 or 2 years back. So suppose you have selected the topic, and topic is not very much, it's a common topic, not novel, or some new things it not attached in that. For example, everybody is writing about sustainable HR, but somebody is writing about tactical knowledge in sustainable sustainable HR, something like that. So then it will be publishable. But if you're talking about the same topic, so the selection of topic, selection of the keywords in the topic is very important in that. Okay, so findings, when I discuss um, my own papers, and then I will try to explain what are the main things to be focused um, in the findings area, or generally we go for commonality polling also. And okay, so and then finding of the prior study. So basically this is nowadays so many methods have come through which we can analyze um, the future direction, the thematic analysis. I mean, with the help of bibliometrics, machine will give you some clusters. Cluster wise, you can just go through with the papers and get some ideas, get some variables. And that is also literature review. This kind of literature reviews also help you in writing your, if you are a doctoral scholar, um, it will help you in writing your chapter 2. Chapter 2 is review of literature. So you can get the papers, do the literature review, and then it will be part of your chapter 2 also, part of the thesis, in fact. So then we have some um, framework based review. So they are basically, there are three types of uh, literature review paper today I'm going to discuss. One is uh, the bibliometric analysis. Second is systematic literature review. And with both, third type of literature review papers are also available, which is known as framework based review. So, so it means actually framework based review is related with bibliometric as well as systematic literature review. So the combination is you are doing SLR, systematic literature review, and you develop a kind of framework, or you do some framework based review. So it's a combination of SLR as well as framework based review. So you'll have a publishable research paper, or sometimes with the help of bibliometric analysis. And if you add the flavor of framework based review, then again it is a publishable uh, material. I would like to suggest at this level for your further studies, you should you should read some papers from just Professor Justin Paul uh, for framework based review as well as systematic literature review. And you should also read some methodology, which is bibliometric analysis methodology for literature review from Professor Satish Kumar. Both have, renowned person. Both are renowned person and reputed in their field. Uh, you uh, you can read their papers, and I think these are good papers. You read it, then you will understand. Okay. So I'll discuss all these things. It is just an introduction. I'll just show the papers and in which they are used, and then we'll go ahead. So, okay. So just few things, just adding, because TCCM framework, it is about theoretical, uh, you know, uh, what are the theoretical implications, or what are the theories used in all the research papers? What are the contextual uh, uh, findings, then characteristics, and what are the methodologies used in this? That's TCCM framework. Then Ado framework is talking about antecedents and decision making variables. So you will find on the, so it is actually finding the variables or finding the theme which is based on uh, the word analysis, which is from bibliometric, as well as manually you can do from any set of literature. So what are the, going through with all literature, what are the antecedents, variables or theme, what are the decision making, and what may be the outcome themes from the. So if you are able to develop this Adobe framework based research paper, it will be definitely, nowadays they've started accepting this type of framework based uh, literature review. Now, another is nowadays they are also very acceptable, that 6W framework. 6W framework is W means, when, what, when, what, where, something, which. So that kind of, you answer to these questions, and then how also. So it extracts important insights. Uh, Uh, they're also talking about the research gaps. So basically, those who are research scholars, they can go for 6W framework. And with this 6W framework, they can find out the research gaps. And again, those who are doctoral scholar in first year or second year, they might be knowing that it is how much important to find out the research gaps, on which basis they can create the objectives, and then research questions, and then further proceed. They can go for proposed model or something like that. So that is again the part of this. If you, with the literature, you find some literature gap, you can create some variables, interrelations, and then you can create some hypothesis. That if you create the hypothesis as a result of your literature review paper, that is also publishable. So in 6W framework, they also used to provide directions for future research, or basically it is to find out a user-centric approach to product and portfolio development. That is for different type of research, maybe finance and all. So, okay, so Prisma is basically, it is actually, uh, this is again, what are the things to be included? So when we talk about inclusion exclusion criteria, so basically this is Prisma. So Prisma is a framework which tells you to write down the inclusion criterias. So for example, you have mentioned some keywords, and those keywords, how many numbers have come, then why you want to take all the papers. If you want to remove some papers, that you have to give the reasons. And then, because since it is not irrelevant, it is not relevant, so then again, what happened, what are the records, what are the number of papers have come, then again, sometimes full text is not available, sometimes all these things. So on the basis of that, so this is you can see here, if I change here, I think, yeah. So you can see that records identified through database searching, and records identified through other sources. So maybe we are taking the database search from some keywords, you get that. Then after duplicates, I mean, so suppose for example, here they have example that you have taken, suppose you have taken two database. For example, recently we have worked on a paper where I have combined the database from Scopus as well as Web of Science. So then we have to remove the common, the duplicates. So it is duplicate. So duplicates is removed. So all these things you have to write down how many duplicates were there. So this all, things. Then record screen for relevance. So you have various methods. You are manually also you can do it. And sometimes in database they will give you the relevancy. Maybe some site score, maybe some not site score, maybe some here you can use many general selection criteria, all the things you can use it here. And with the help of, you again do some kind of record screen, then record excluded. So that's why I'm telling you exclusion and inclusion criteria. So for there we use Prisma. Then full text articles assessed for eligibility, then excluded and inclusion. What is the criteria you have used? You all we have to mention all this. Then finally, you want to get a number of papers which is to be studied. This particular thing you want to, you have got a number of papers which is to be studied. So that is all we do in Prisma flow diagram. So generally, that is also one of the very much required thing, which is nowadays researchers are using it, and they are publishing it. Okay, so okay. So what is a little bit about bibliometric also? So bibliometric analysis is a scientific computer assisted review methodology that can identify core research or authors as well as the relationship by covering all the publications related to a given topic. So, so it is a scientific technique to review the papers. So it is generally it is done with the help of software. You can do it manually, but it is not possible. Suppose you have got from 2020, from 2010 to 2024, 15 years paper. You want to check in particular field, maybe sustainability and technology. In the field of um, sustainable technology, you want to check, maybe you will get 5,000 papers. Manually you cannot do it, so you require some software. That's why people are going for bibliometric analysis nowadays. Software is helping them to categorize, to get some common themes. For the thematic analysis also, I mean, it can be done through these softwares also. I'll tell you how. uh, and then we have a lot of cluster based analysis also possible through softwares. So bibliometric analysis nowadays very upcoming, and a kind of entrepreneurship projects which are people are using it nowadays. And now if you are in a group of academia, then definitely you might be seeing a lot of people are started writing it. But then again, um, for publication, there are few other things which are required. So these are basic concept of two things I will discuss. Otherwise, so many things. I'll take the paper, one paper, and I will go there. But before that, I want to tell one is bibliometric coupling. So bibliometric coupling is, suppose for example myself and one another person is in London and I am in India. I am A and she is B or he is B, and we are writing a research paper. We don't have any, we don't know each other. We don't have any relation, but we are citing C, D, and E. We are citing the papers C, D, and E. So C, D, and E are commonly cited by both of us. So that is means A and B, myself and the person in London, are bibliographic coupling. So the papers, my papers and her paper or his paper at B, so A and B are bibliographically coupled because they have cited papers C, D, and E in the same subject. Suppose, or in the different subject also, whatever is there. So suppose I am writing down in some paper and he is writing down as a B paper, he is written down. But we have some common papers, common cited papers. I have also cited C, he has also cited C. So C, D, E are commonly cited papers. Then we say, then A and B are bibliographically coupled. Then Likewise, co-citation analysis. Um, Co-citation analysis or co-citation coupling is, for example, these Mr. C, or in paper C, paper D, and paper E, they have cited uh, A and B. So all A and B are co-cited. So in this way, A and B are associated because they are co-cited in the reference list of the paper C, D, and E. So here also A and B are associated because they are co-cited in the reference list of A and B. So in other way, I can say that and you can see the relationship between C, D, and E also. Both have cited. D also cited A and B. C also cited A and B, and E also cited A and B. So this kind of association technique, the bibliometric software they will use, they use it, and they come up with a very wonderful result. And then as a researcher, we have to manually do some kind of analysis on the basis of this software result, and then we'll go for that to make it publishable. So this is just a repetition. I don't want to repeat this. For example, there is a term which is known as coupling strength. So coupling strength of the two given document is higher the more citations to the other document they share. If they are having more citations to other documents they share, then the coupling strength is higher. So with that, I think this is one pictorial example. Just have a look on that. I think, yeah, P1 and P2, the dotted line are bibliographic coupling. And dotted lines are co-citation. And bibliometric coupling are little dash type of things. And when you talk about direct citation, that is just an arrow. So you can see in the figure that P4 and P5 are co-cited. They are co-cited because they have cited P3. Okay. Now P1 and P2 are bibliographical coupled. Why? Because they both have cited the same paper. So with that pictorial representation, uh, we can see it, the difference between these terms. Okay, so we'll come back to this particular topic. For example, total strength or total link strength. Then okay, so fine. So we'll stop here for a moment. Okay, now I'll share two papers, and with the help of papers, I'll tell you how to do systematic literature review, then how to use framework-based review, and in both the cases, we can use the bibliometric analysis also. So basically, we are talking three ways of doing three literature review paper. One is SLR, systematic literature review paper, and then combination of systematic literature review paper with bibliometric analysis, then bibliometric analysis itself. Then one is framework based review, which I have discussed during the presentation, edu concept and all. So that is also, so I'm taking few papers and then I'll try to explain So that will cover our types of literature review, which broadly I'm covering this. Um, I'm not covering all the types of literature review in detail. I'm just covering three types, which are actually nowadays they are working on that. Basically, the papers which are being published in the academic world nowadays, uh, they are only including only these three types of papers: systematic literature review, framework based literature review, and bibliometric analysis or bibliometric based literature review paper. So again, I'm just closing it. I'm sharing another things, and then we'll be having. Um, okay, I'm taking some questions before I proceed further. Okay. Okay, yeah. I'm taking the last question, then I'll just take the second last and slowly I'm taking one question. The difference between bibliographic and co-citation couple is not clear to me. So if you can explain, uh, yeah, I will explain it, but once again, I have just explained through some examples also. I think it might be clear to you now with the latest explanation of bibliographic coupling and co-citation. So suppose two people are citing one common paper, it is that two papers are bibliographically coupled. And suppose uh, two uh, one paper is citing another three, four papers. So in every paper, if we write a paper, we cite some reference, we write some reference, isn't it? So all the papers which are in my reference, these reference papers are co-cited papers. They are having co-citation coupling. So all the citation which I give in my paper, uh, which you called, generally it is understood as a reference, the reference papers, all the reference papers are known as co-cited coupling. Now I think it is quite understandable. I'll take one or two more question and then we'll. Okay. Now, okay. So it is crystal clear. Thank you. And okay. So okay. Yeah, I think all questions. Okay, I'm going there and then we'll. Proceed. So okay. So I'm just going back. Give me a minute. I. Okay. So and one more paper I will discuss. This is my paper itself. Okay. So my screen is visible now. Okay, fine. Thank you. Yes, I got it. So thank you, Shubham. Now, this is a fantastic example of systematic literature review. This is a paper came in 19, published was 19. It is my paper. This paper is uh, example of systematic literature review, in which we have selected the papers from four important database. So the topic was customer relationship management research in hospitality industry, a review and classification. So now I'll tell you the basic concepts of this. Basically, what happened? This is The aim was this paper was to systematically review the entire hospitality. So here, CRM literature plus hospitality we have added. So these two keywords at that time, because CRM has been used for various industry. So here we have chosen the industry, which was the important point actually. CRM software or CRM literature related to hospitality. So, particularly, we have not segmented the hospitality industry, only entire hospitality industry we have covered, so that we can get the exhaustive results. So, so the topic was entire hospitality industry, which uses CRM software, or all the literature papers or the papers, research papers, which are related with CRM hospitality or hospitality and CRM. So for that, I told you that whether you should go for a set database, but if you want to publish in good journal, you have to follow, you have to find out in which, if you're, so again, the secret is, if you want to publish the paper in a journal, most of the paper should belongs to, so if you want to publish a category in a category journal, most of your papers should belong to the journals which are from a category. So for that, when we targeted for that, so what we did, we get for four database. So these were actually done manually at that time. Elsevier, Emerald Insight, Sage, and Taylor and Francis. These are four very much renowned database. Those who are in academic field, we all know these four are very renowned database. And for that, with this database, we try to find out some papers. The process is, then what is the selection process? I will be telling you. I'll tell you. Total number of 136 articles. So I told you that basically it is from 40 to 200, or around 200 or 180 is the adequate number of papers which is to be selected for SLR. And if you want to do the bibliometric analysis, definitely the minimum number of papers should be uh, around 200. Literature says, you can find it in the literature. So, and then those 136 articles with 9,900 citation in 46 journals were chosen from four database, and they contained the relevant articles. That was manually done actually. So what is the, I'll tell you the, so in the first three, four paragraphs, we will be writing about, what is CRM, what is the use of CRM in hospitality, how in the past few years, from the last 20 years, how and why hospitality has started using about CRM, and why sometimes the CRM is, why, and so why CRM is a failure in hospitality. What is the next thing, next talk of the town in hospitality industry apart from the CRM? Because earlier it was loyalty programs. So we did some research, literature research, that is, during that also we came to know so many things. For example, what, so we can go for loyalty also, but why we should gone to CRM? Because CRM was the buzzword that time, and In 2010 to 12, 15, it was very huge amount of research has been done on CRM. So we wanted to find out whether it is still relevant or not. So many things are there. So from 19, so there is a, then, I'll talk one by one, otherwise you'll get confused some. So the entire literature has been, so first I'll show you the selection criteria, because then it will, so first, because selection criteria is very important, I'll show you the where it is. Yeah. So this is a kind of prisma, you can say. So, but here the name is systematic literature review flow chart. We can give the, nowadays talking about prisma, what are the things, how to, you remember that when I was explaining prisma technique, it includes like that. What is the inclusion area? Why you have excluded? What is the things? What discipline wise? What wise you have selected? So, for example, here the first step was the four database. We have gone to the four database: Elsevier, Emerald, Insight, Sage, and Taylor Francis. Very clear. Very clear. Clarity is there. Now, the second step is advanced research, in which we try to find out in the paper where CRM in hospitality were there, or maybe title, or maybe in abstract it is there. So basically we have to go through with only abstract. Sometimes you can get the title also, or keywords. So whenever, see, it is very I mean, it is not very simple, but it is very if you do systematically, you will come it, because 136 papers, and suppose you are doing 20 per day, it will take 6-7 days to read the abstract as well as read the title and keywords. So abstract, title, and keywords, easily you can do it manually. So from that you can find out which are the paper is important for you. I mean, which are the paper relevant for you. So then you have selected from them, maybe uh, how many, I don't know finally how many paper initially were there, but because for general database from the last 20 years, if you are doing, a lot of things are there. But if you write down um, the keywords, definitely you will get it. So manual screening you started, then relevant area wise, discipline wise, specifically in marketing, discipline, CRM, hospitality, all these things. Then sometimes implicitly or explicitly belonging to a topic of study, if it is there, you can select those. Search for scopus also. Sometimes that is also good to mention, that what you have done. So some scopus index articles also, if it is relevant, you have some included. It was included in that. Then redundant articles were discarded and 11 relevant articles were found. So these are the steps. You have to mention all this so that it will authenticate your methodology. See, the whatever you speak, it will not work. Whatever you explain from your mouth, it will not work. The only the workable things is you have to write it actually. You have to write it, you have to mention it. So whatever you will mention, that is the only thing which is important. So finally, with all the steps, final set of articles, 136 articles, and then definitely there is a mechanism to find out altogether how much citations. Their mechanism is there. You will come to know when we do some hands-on training on software. So then so that is the flow chart. So this is the uh, okay, so methodology, research. So in the research methodology, we have to write all these things, like for example, um, and then must be written some objectives. There are 3-4 objectives or research questions. In so here, for example, here we have written in a short form all these things in a very small way or diminished way. Here it is little more explained. For example, here they have written CRM in hospitality, customer relationship in hospitality industry. They were the keywords. The particular keywords are used as objective of papers. So since to synthesize and analyze the CRM literature, particularly in the hospitality industry, and therefore, so these are the justification of the keywords and all. So basically, okay, so this is the things. Somewhere it is the 2 3 lines about the objectives of the purpose of the research paper also should be written somewhere. So maybe not here, but it is in the abstract is there, but somewhere it is written about the purpose. Maybe it is. I'll just show this. Then you can write the relevancy of the to what is the audience. So therefore, this paper is relevant for the audience. Who are the audience? Researchers, faculty, and practitioners. All these things. Okay, so this is beginning of any systematic literature review. So then systematic literature review, you go for classification analysis. This analysis and classification part is an integral element of any systematic literature review. That is what you call SLR. So, okay, it starts with generally because you are taking care of all the papers from throughout the years and all. So it will start from distribution of the articles by year of publication. So software will give you, when we do the hands-on, I'll tell you how to get all these things with a moment, with a minute. So these are the software. It started from, for example, in this topic, the as you see in the screen, that is started from the first paper was in 1988 and then 1998. So there was a 10 years of gap. So that is also we have mentioned in our findings that first paper was in 1988 and the second was 1998. So these are the two things, and then slowly it has reached to its peak in 2016. Can you see it? It is at 2016 it reached the peak, and then there is a steep decrease, and it is very down till 2018 itself. Why? There is a reason, because after that CRM technique or CRM softwares or CRM tools, they have become mostly irrelevant in the field of, or you can say little kind of obsolete, not totally obsolete, partially obsolete in the field of hospitality, because people started talking about the new buzz, and that is what we have mentioned in our research also. Because after that, why it is slow down, because people, the authors, the article writers or authors started writing about customer engagement. That is another step of customer relationship management. So it is from CE as well as CX, customer experience. So, so in that way, there was a shift from customer relationship management to customer experience, CRM to CX. That also we have explained in our finding. So that is there. And so sometimes this is year wise, you have given that graph is already given by a software, or during the studies, if you can find out, if you have less papers, for example here only 136 papers, we can manually divide it. Sometimes we find out that there is a new difference between the themes, sudden shift in the themes from a particular duration. So we have divided the timeline between 1998 to 2000, and then 2001 to 2010, and the third timeline was a modern CRM timing, where most of the papers were in hospitality industry written in the field of CRM, and they also talking about the negative effect of CRM, why CRM failure also during that age. So that is a kind of, you can see, it's a kind of that stage, what you call the third stage, that is uh, um, a kind of reach to a particular stage where they have to go down, maturity stage. So this is a classification done by, that is a contribution, that is the contribution of researchers. This is given by the machine, but that is your contribution. So the more you give your contribution, that will be publishable. So in that paper, then again, if it is divided between this time period, what are the papers, what are the authors written in those areas? For example, what are the keywords, or what are the main variables they are talking about? What are the dimensions they are talking about in that? So that is also so what are the papers? For example, here we have only 11 papers out of 132. So they have, done some kind of things. What they have, the papers on strategy, outcome based, or organizational structure and culture during this phase. So only they emphasize on these. So that is one of the finding. That is our contribution. That is a researcher contribution. Then in this time period, uh, okay, so one foundation is they are talking about customer retention, customer loyalty, a word of mouth, repeat purchase, customer satisfaction. So this is again your finding, because you have analyzed all the papers and you come to know that during this time these are the main topic where they were writing. So that is again one of the way of writing a high impactful journal, and these are the ways why it was published also. Then sometimes you can, that is also done because you have already done it. So you can mention a distribution of articles by database. So for example, Sage contains 27%, 23.7%. Emerald Insight contains 29.6% of the total published articles. So this also very general things. So that is systematic literature review. Systematically, you are reviewing the literature and you are revealing the findings, which is actually based on um, your observation. Okay, so now CRM in hospitality and related theme. So they have, this is database, and again data wise collection. So for example, total. This is all you can get with the software also. Journal wise classification, or you if number of papers are less, you can do it manually also. So those journals who are having more publication in the area, for example, International Journal of Contemporary Hospitality Management. Uh, they have published during this duration 28 papers. So 28 papers. So journal wise classification, you can do it. That is also one of the finding. Then again, this is subject wise classification. So for example, technology based paper, how much technology based paper? 35 papers. Then outcome performance based papers. So loyalty program based papers, you can see general overview, consumer behavior based papers. So and antecedents and implementation based papers, strategy. So culture based paper. So this is classification. Manually, it can be done. I think manually is better, that you can go to every paper and find out this category, or all. There is a word cloud of any machine can do it of Celtic articles. You can just write down one or two paragraphs on that. Then again is this is general wise also you can, we have kuch papers, and then year wise also it is done. The same topic can be done year wise. Here we have done single, and here they have done year wise. I mean the duration wise. So the whole duration is divided into three duration, and then three duration wise it is done. So this is one of the typical example of then outcomes, all these things. You can say it's a kind of small themes also, technology based papers. So with the help of this, for example, we have 25 papers which are emphasizing on outcomes or performance. So or we have 35 papers which are emphasizing on technology. We have 20 papers or more than 20 papers which are emphasizing customer loyalty or loyalty programs, which are happening in the field of CRM hospitality. So like this, all these themes I mean, through the papers, we have got the theme. This is our contribution. And then in every theme, we are going to write down with the help of these papers only. For example, if I'm writing on technology, so we have how many papers in technology? 35. See this 35 papers. So it means if we read 35 papers from which we have got the technology word, so with the help of these 35 papers, we can mention few here. And then this will be our outcomes or findings. So the technology word, right? So like that outcomes, so this is a um, part of systematic literature review. So this is a typical example of systematic literature review paper. And then bibliography of review literature. See all these things, customer loyalty, technology, all this, you know, for example, you remember in technology, how many papers? In technology, we have 35 papers. You remember? Can you see this figure? Are you be with me? Hi, are you be with me? Okay, you can write in the chat box. Okay, yes, I got it. Thank you. Thank you, Shalini. Yeah, we are coming to WAS. Don't worry, we have so okay. So remember, see, I'm just revealing some important point actually. See, we have from the 35 papers, we have got the technology as a theme from 35 papers. We call it subject-wise classification, but it is a kind of thing where these 35 papers have contributed in the field of technology, specifically in hospitality industry or CRM industry, right? CRM in hospitality industry. So technology, right? So for that 35 papers, you are mentioning here. You are mentioning here 35 papers. Technology, remember? Technology. See, these are the 35 papers. These are the 35 papers. So that is also a kind of um, way of doing things. So whatever papers are there out of 136 paper, or I think 122 paper, 132 papers, these are all papers which are helping in which are authors which are giving the views related to technology. So all these papers. So this kind of thing, it should be a part of it should definitely be part of systematic literature review. So okay, so one more thing, customer loyalty program. So all of the things, like all these themes, you write it out. So finally, after all these things, discussion and future research. That was the important point. And in that 136 articles, our one aim was to give the future direction. So all these things discussion, when I'll share these articles with you, you can just go through. But writing down the SLR paper is in the same way you can write down the papers. But what was the important thing? See, one of the objective of this paper is to provide directions to the researchers in the domain of CRM in hospitality. So looking at the previous studies, the following questions remain unanswered and can be explored in future. That was the future direction. And I believe me, after including this paragraph, we have already done from there, because discussion and future research already done here. But here we have added this, from this onwards, we have added new things. And after that, when we submitted, it was accepted. So what is there are four questions we have added, which is again based on the literature and we deducted something which were our contribution, which were our contribution, uh, as we deducted something from the literature to give the future research direction or future direction to the researchers. So, or direction to the future researchers. So, one was, what is the future of widely prevalent loyalty programs? Because loyalty program they started writing. It is again from the literature only. So, is there any these questions we have made, but the support to that question was from the literature itself, and these are all literatures are there only. So when you write the future direction, which is again, so when you read any research, you have to read the research paper in such a way so that you can find out some variable, you can find out some future direction, or you can read some bunch of paper. Definitely some future direction may be common. You can just find out what are the commonalities, so then, or what are the main variables they are talking about, so then you can emphasize on that and then you will come out with this. So it is a kind of thorough going through with the papers, then only you will come to know. And so as the second one was, as CRM has largely become software technology centric, then what is the CRM in modern times? Again, it is supported because so many people has told about the failure of CRM. So and then CRM projects fail also at that time. So with the help of these literature, we have got this. So again, the fourth questions: is there any dark side of CRM? Or CRM has only realized positive results? Because we didn't find a single research paper, we didn't find a single research paper which is related to the negative of CRM. Is there any negativity of CRM? Is there any dark side of CRM? It was not there. So, but people write that we have invested a huge amount of money in CRM and it failure also. So it is it is failing. They are mentioning that CRM project failure, but they don't mention that it is anything negative about CRM. So the failure may happen because of some other things. So it is, so we have suggested that somebody should write the negativity about CRM. So that was the novel point. Then the third was the fourth was, yeah. For example, is there any clear demarcation of how much does a hospitality organization generate business from CRM, and or as compared to the rest of the marketing or promotion activities? Undertake a cost benefit analysis clearly. So some people should write. If they write it, if they do the future research, that will be always good. So that was the main reason. If we come to future direction, that will always better. So this was the paper I wanted to discuss. And next paper will be bibliometric. I think this will be taking long time. So before that, uh, uh, now I just wanted to know that everyone has downloaded the software which you called WASP Viewer software. WASPware download? Yes or no? Say yes. Okay, yes, okay, fine. Or and I have shared one Scopus database file in CSV format. Do you have the format? Do you have the CSV file? Name was 581. Yes? Okay, very good. So we will do a small practice, and I think I have shared some papers also. Please go through with the papers. We will do small practice about that bibliometric software, and then we will uh, uh, stop there. So I'm just opening my screen, and you follow me and try to do the same thing. So software is there, WASP viewer is there, and the file is there. So along with me, you you do the same thing, you follow me, and we'll be doing some hands-on. Is this okay? Say yes. Okay, Snehal, but thank you. So, okay, fine. So, I mean, 1%. No. Okay, I am just yeah. Okay, I think I'm stopping my share. I'll share it again once I'm okay, fine. So let us start some hands-on practice uh, on WASP viewer software. And okay, one more thing because I okay, this is there. Just give me a minute and mm, okay, closing it. Okay, just give me a minute. Just okay, yes. Mm. Okay, so can you see my screen now? Okay, ठीक है. So where is the software? Okay, so are you getting this page? Double click on WAS viewer software. When you install, have you installed, when you installed WAS viewer software, they may be asking for Java, JavaScript installation. So after installation of Java, only you will be able to work on WAS viewer because WAS viewer basic takes the information from Java software. Are you on this page? Are you on this page? Come on, respond me. Are you able to open this page? Yes. Oh, very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Okay, fine. So, see, we'll be also working on our software. There is a Biblo Shiny software on R. It is very simple also, and it gives more graphical representation. So first we'll try to travel on this software a little, and then so you can use combinedly in some ways. You can use R software also, and for some analysis you can use WAS viewer because they have some limitations also. You can use both the softwares for bibliometric analysis. Okay, so basic things I have told, but so many other things are there. Maybe if it comes on the way, I'll explain. Otherwise, we'll go back to another paper which I plan to discuss. Of so if this page is open, it means that we have to go to create. So go to create. When you go to create, uh, we have three options. Create a map based on network data, create a map based on bibliographic data. So we have, since we have bibliographic data, we will go to the middle one. So click to middle one. Okay, so and then we'll keep there. Okay, so go to here in this box, there is a next option of putting next. So go to next button. So the box will open which tells about choose data sources. Choose data sources. So in the middle one, because we have data from that data which I have shared, it is from Scopus database or Webs of Science database. If you have two types of database, it will work here. So go to middle. So middle one. Okay, fine. So then go to next. Now they're asking your database is Web of Science or Scopus, because now it is to be uploaded inside. Your data should be going inside now. So then since your data is from Scopus, you don't need to click on Web of Science. You have to click on Scopus. So click on Scopus. Here in this box, uh, Scopus, you click on Scopus. Okay, fine. So then now you have to upload the data. So I think you must have downloaded the data 581 and you have put the data somewhere or data file somewhere. So according to that, you bring this data. So for example, I am just finding out my is on okay, so desktop. When I went to desktop, there was a file, there was a a folder, bibliometric workshop, Dr. Manish, where I got this data 581.csv. So I'm just clicking here and thus I'm telling it okay. After clicking 581, I click OK. Now data has gone inside. Now data is ready for further what you called analysis. So we go to next. Because Scopus file is very large file, it will take time to. Okay, so I think this is the page. Have you got this page where type of analysis and unit of analysis there? Have you got this page? Okay, Snehal, have you downloaded the 581 data? 581 data file, which is sent by Sir, I think. So that data, okay, I'll do it once again. I'll do it once again for you. Everyone, please look it very carefully. I'll do it once again. For example, I'm doing it, okay, close it. I'm closing it, for example, cancel. Okay. I'm doing it again. Create. So create, then again, mid one, create a map based. Middle already selected, na? So it is selected. So I'll go to mid and then next. Okay. Then read from database, mid one. So you have to choose the mid one and then next. Then you have to find out so go to Scopus click, already click. The data is already inside. So here you can go to the search, that three dots. Can you see the three dots? That three dots, when you click, the search option will open. So you have to go to the place where you have downloaded 581. So there you click it and it is already there. So I'm canceling it. It's already there. So then you get the 581 and again you go to next and then you get this is the final one. No, I'll answer this question, Snehal. How to prepare this file? That is, you can't prepare this file. In fact, you can the data, download the file from the Scopus database. So meanwhile, let me finish this. I'll tell you how to download the data from Scopus database. This file is, yeah, that I will answer. Sunita ji, I will answer your question. How can we download the data from Scopus? I will tell. Just wait. Just do this for a moment, because then today you will practice. Tomorrow we'll come with more doubt, and then I'll be explaining how to do it. So today I just wanted to, before I leave, I wanted to just to give some idea so that you can just play with the data. I'll also tell how to download the database, but provided you should have a Scopus database access. One data file I have sent, that is 581. I think I will request Amanji to share the data file if it is not being shared. If it is not shared, I'll request to share it. Otherwise, um, I'll also show you how to do it actually. Now, so this is, now I'm closing. So this is the actually the page from where your analysis start. So this bibliometric analysis will tell you about co-authorship, about co-occurrence, about citation, about bibliographic coupling, about co-citations versus authors versus organization versus countries. So in left hand side, you have the type of analysis. Basically, it is 5 types of analysis they are doing in bibliometric analysis, and 3 options are there. Unit of analysis may be author wise, maybe organization wise, maybe countries wise. So suppose, for example, you want to go for word cloud, the smallest thing, co-occurrence. So co-occurrence, you can click here. First one is co-authorship. Another is co-occurrence. So if you talk about the keywords, the author keywords, which is in the abstract, and you have to find out the co-occurrence of the keywords, basically all keywords, basically the author keywords. So you can have a analysis between them, co-occurrence and author keywords. So then you go select here co-occurrence and here select author keywords. So you select author keywords and you select co-occurrence. So we'll see what is the relation between co-occurrence of author keywords. So what are in that analysis, you will come to know, it's a kind of word cloud you will get, and you'll come to know which words, which uh, keywords are more emphasized by the authors in that particular field. So you go to next. So uh, uh, if you take the minimum occurrence of the keyword, because keyword, repeated, keywords are repeated. So uh, if you believe that you want the keywords only, you want only the keywords which are more than 5 times, which are more than 5 times. So in that way, it depends on the researcher. It depends on the person who is doing the research. So if you want the all important keywords, you can just find out the keywords which are more than 10 times. For example, okay. So if it is more than 10 times, only 9 keywords are there. So very less amount of keywords, so that I think your analysis, so you have to, you definitely you want to know more important keywords. So it may be, 2 or 3 times repetition is there, but maybe importance may be more. So then you reduce the number of occurrence. So for example, this is, if you keep it minimum occurrence of keyword 5 times, so in that keywords, maybe um, so many keywords are there, but only 30 meets the threshold. It means out of 1117 keywords, only 30 keywords are there whose minimum number of occurrence is 5. So 5 times at least they are found. Okay, maximum maybe more. So let us check what is the result. Okay, so we'll go to next. Okay, nothing to do in that, in this step. We again go to next. Now you can find out moral education in that particular file which I have sent you. Moral education is the word whose occurrence is 96. 96 times moral education, the word of moral education was used. So this is total link and all this. So if you go, so this is uh, calculation you can use in your bibliometric analysis paper, but the it is not complete, because for completion you have to click the button finish. There is a button down, finish. So you can click on finish. So yes, yeah. So yes, you can. So there are 3 types of visualization is there. One is network visualization. Okay, so one is density utilization or density visualization. So this is, if you are able to see it, you can find out that this is the graphical representation where the more big size letter will tell you more repetitions important, and less those who are very small. So you can see the less repetitions. More repetition means more board and more big. So a lot of other things also I can just show you. For example, here we can size the, you can change the size, and density also you can change it. Yeah, this way. Okay, this way you can change it. And so this is a kind of word cloud. Here also, if you go to network utilization, you can find out the 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 words which are related to moral education. So in the moral education word used in the paper where democracy is used, moral education is the word where China has, utilized this word, where some development word is there. So development and moral education, pedagogy and moral education, curriculum and moral education, globalization in moral education, all are related things. You can find out here. For example, if you go to character education, again, education is related to few words. Um, Values, social studies, moral developments, globalization, all these things are related to this kind of thing. So this is a word cloud type things. So benefit is, what is the benefit? If you are with me, we can uh, look at the left hand side. Look at left hand side. Left hand side, there are 3 things are written: file, items, and analysis. File, items, and analysis. You go to items. So Now, with this help of with the help of these word clusters, this software WASP viewer has an added advantage where where it divides the whole bunch of keywords into some clusters. So in this particular case, they have come up with 7 clusters, or you can say 7 items. So each item, so cluster 1 is having 7 items. So cluster 2 is having 6 items. So when I say item means keywords. Cluster 3 is 4 items or 4 keywords. So you can say that these cluster 3, all the words are very much related words. Either they are coupled or cited among the same cited papers. They are very much related. So with the help of this, can you come up with a theme? Now it is your responsibility. With the help of this, can you come up with a theme? This is a very simple research paper. So in that, maybe some typical medical science research papers, scientific research papers, you can come up with lot of clusters, word clouds, where you can have thematic analysis also. And uh, so I think this is the first step, um, and the thematic analysis also can be done. It is up to you how to take the anything related to that, and then you come up with the new words, something like that. So that is first thing. Otherwise you can do lot of other things in that. So you can go back, you go to file, or you go to create. Again you go to create, again you go to map, then again you go to this, then again you go to this, again this opens. For example, you can go for co-citation analysis, co-citation or bibliographic coupling. So you can go for bibliographic coupling, and then you can find out the countries. For example, you want to find out which are the top most countries, those who are publishing in this field. So you can go for bibliographic coupling and countries. So you can click here, and then again you can go to yes, next. Then you can go for okay, let us the minimum number of documents for a country is 5, and no zero citation is okay, no issue 22. Okay, so can we make it little less possible? Okay, so if you increase the number of things, it will okay. So make it 25. Okay, so what is the condition? Minimum number of documents of a country is 5. Minimum number of citation of a country is 25. In that condition, only 18 country has come up. So let's find out which are the top most countries in this category. Okay. So United States, United Kingdom, Australia, Turkey, Indonesia, Canada, China, Netherlands, South Africa, and India is not in the top 20, 18. Oh, very bad. Anyway, this is from the literature. So so these are the, top most countries whose documents. So in that field, whatever field is there in that Scopus based file, we'll discuss it tomorrow. That United Nations had published more than 147 papers. So in that category, United Nations are or UK or Australia, these 3 countries are among the top 3. So that is your that is your findings. You can tell the findings, or so this is where you can copy and paste it, or otherwise you can go to this particular thing. Yeah. So sometimes these are the country you can just or you can just network visualization, like you can see the United States are related with Indonesia. So you can say the country, those who are writing in United States, they have a combination or bibliometric coupling through Chinese people, through Indonesia's people, through Taiwan people, through Turkey people, through Finland. So all these researchers are very much associated. So this is one of the findings you can mention, and how you write your finding, that is also one of the important thing. So anyway, so this is a few things which um, um, I think with this note, I should stop here because information should not be overflow, I think. So I'm stopping here, and okay, so we will be repeating it tomorrow. We'll be repeating it tomorrow. You have the software, do practice. So we'll be repeated. We'll be repeating it tomorrow. So don't worry about this. You have the software, you have the papers, the file is also there. So, and then here also clusters. I think clusters will be there. Yeah. So 5 clusters, you see, items. When you click at the items, you will have again clusters. 6 item, Indonesia and all this. You can find out these countries are very much related. So if you can find some conclusion from this, that is also one of your. So there are many things. Tomorrow we'll be discussing more about R and as well as more insight in bibliometric research with the software and without software also. So I think I am stopping here with the homework I am giving you. Do practice with the software and come up with the questions. Uh,
Dear participants, if you have any queries, you can ask. Dear participants, if you have any query, please ask. So I think there are no more queries.
okay,
We can
so
end this session.
okay, so Amanji, we are I'm closing it right now.